My name is Dan Adiletta. I'm the Manager of Educational Technology at Marianapolis. And in addition to that, I'm also the computer science teacher at Marianapolis. And this is the 6 members of my tech crew, which I'll be explaining about very shortly. But in the meanwhile, why don't you just introduce yourselves very quickly?
Hi, I'm Angel.
I'm Seth.
I'm Chapin.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Frank. Great. So, our mission, there you go. Our mission is to improve our school's technological infrastructure and to improve our school's technological implementation. So we have a twofold mission, both the equipment and the training to use that equipment. And we meet like any other after-school club. So just like how the Model UN in our club meets, how our debate club meets, how our theater group meets, we have an after-school commitment, but instead of practicing debate or instead of preparing for the fall or now the spring play, we're working on the technological infrastructure and implementation at our school. So our goal here today, why we're here speaking with you, is to first explain what we do and to demonstrate some of our value, and also to expand our network. We're not just here just to explain what we're doing, we're also inviting you to join the program, and I think you might be interested after you hear them talk about what it is we do. So this is where we're from. This is Marianapolis. This is our school, and it is a nice day out, but we're still very happy to be skipping a day of school. And it's about an hour away, and I got here first in 2010. And when I first started as a IT support / computer science teacher in 2010, I was asked to help chair the Student Technology Committee. And what the Student Technology Committee was the representatives of this building. What you see on the screen here is St. John's Boys Dormitory. Marianapolis is 50% boarding and 50% day student. So we had about 100 boys living in this dorm and sharing about a 10 megabit connection that was spotty at best. So you have 100 teenagers sharing a connection that's slower than your home cable, and it didn't work so well. And they were outraged at this. And so I joined this school while there was a mutiny boiling under the surface. And so the first thing, they wanted a voice on the student council so that they could express their frustration with the school's internet. And we had a couple volunteers, they were all living there, and we never went to one meeting of student council. Because as soon as the first day we started meeting, just as the last speaker said, we were immediately inundated with help. Can you fix my laptop? Can you help me get my cell phone on the school network? I have a Skype phone. I've been trying to talk to my parents for 2 weeks, and they don't know that I made it to school alive. Can you help me communicate with them? So we were immediately hit, and our purpose switched to the mission that I started this presentation with. Our next year started evolving something pretty cool. So this is our Mac lab, or computer lab. They're all running Windows, as you might be able to see in the glare. They're all actually running Windows despite them being Macs, and we call it the Mac lab, and I try to tell them that it's not technically a Mac lab, but you're going to hear them slip in and accidentally call it a Mac lab a few times. But it turned in, year 2, it had a social component added to it, and that's important. And I'll get to that. But it started becoming a fun hangout as well as an after-school club that met their after-school club requirements. Students at Marianapolis are required to take 2 out of the 3 seasons of a sport or any other after-school commitment. And then, of course, the 3rd year, our school implemented its iPad one-to-one program. I'm a teacher. I love being a teacher. I didn't like being an IT support as much as I do enjoy being a teacher. And so since I got there the first year, I was asking to try to get into full-time teacher. Not because IT support isn't my thing, but because teaching really is. And so I was preparing to switch to full-time teaching, and I was getting my curriculum ready. All of a sudden, my headmaster asked me to step outside, And it was a month before school starts, and he takes a walk with me outside this building. We were walking, and we were talking about me becoming a teacher at full time and leaving the IT department entirely, and he goes, "It's not going to happen." And I stopped as we were walking, and I turned to him, and he goes, "We have 450 iPads in the mail. They'll be here next week. We haven't been able to find a manager to implement these iPads, and your name keeps coming up in our discussions. We'd like you to take over." Now, I hadn't been into any of this implementation program. Usually you have a 1-year rollout prep period, you pilot program, you do a number of things. So the screaming in my head was so loud, I couldn't even hear myself shake my headmaster's hand and eagerly agree to do it. So I was panicking. I was panicking a number of ways, and I turned to the tech crew, and something really cool happened. I'll get back to that. But before I do, let me explain, let me allow Seth to explain some of the basic functions of what a tech crew does. Oh yeah, clicker.
Our motto is plug students in, and this motto comes from an observation that we've made. We know that at any given time there's a certain number of students in the school who are unable to use their iPad. It's either broken, which we're teenagers, it happens, or they don't know how to use it, or they don't know which apps we're using. And a lot of people think that, well, if those kids have broken their laptops or their iPads, then they're out of an iPad. But it's more than that. If we have 10 students with broken iPads, each in a different class, every period of the day, then in each one of those classes, there's a problem. The class is being disrupted because the student is unable to participate. Our main objective is to keep our classroom 2.0 plugged in. We established a peer-to-peer between the tech crew and the student body, and this is a very good kind of peer-to-peer, don't get me wrong. We are there as individuals for the students to talk to for training or troubleshooting. Sometimes it's as simple as unlocking their iPad. A lot of people lock themselves out, they forget their passwords. Other times it's repairing the network connection. And we do this either over the counter in our office or as a friend offering a helping hand in class. Through TechCrew, we developed a set of very valuable skills that we'd like to share with the rest of the student body. In this picture, we have Michael Rawls, who is one of the forerunners of TechCrew, and the picture stands as a very good example of what we do. He's sharing the skills that he's learned through working with TechCrew, with his classmates, and even with his teacher. Through this relationship that we've built, and through what we've learned from Mr. A and from each other, everybody benefits. The school keeps its classes online. The students have someone to turn to when they need help, and the tech crew can graduate with the experience and professionalism that they need to operate in their next big adventure.
If you were to walk into a tech crew office, you're not likely to find an adult present, but you will find thousands of dollars worth of equipment and a group of students with a key to the office. You're also likely to find a professional, independent organization serving the school. And while we are helping, our IT staff is free to get ahead on their own work. This is called autonomy, and this is something that TechCrew does very well to assist the IT department. Our basic infrastructure of how TechCrew runs is you'll notice that Mr. A's role is off to the side. He tries to keep a hands-off approach to supervising us. Every week I prepare a report using the information from my project managers and vice president and create a formal report and submit it to Mr. A. Noah, my vice president, makes sure that all the information, if people are showing up on time, if people are following rules and procedures are being obeyed, he'll relay that on communication onto me, and I'll put it in a formal document and hand it in.
It's usually spell checked pretty well.
It was Spider-Man that once said, "With great power comes great responsibility." We're kept accountable for the power that we have. We log all of our progress, and it's all our progress is a lot of work, but it provides a window into our performance. Using project management software and a strict set of rules and guidelines and procedures, we're able to have very responsible, even new members are very responsible with training and keeping all the equipment safe and able to be used.
Alright, so as you see, I'm the only girl in this group.
We noticed.
And you may ask, why did you choose TechCrew? And the reason is pretty simple, because I don't want to be outside during afternoons, because I'm too lazy. I want to stay inside the building and enjoy the air conditioner, and I thought play with the computer in the afternoon is a great spot for me. And so I chose TechCrew. And before I was a member of TechCrew, I really have no idea about technology. I only use my laptop for online chatting, shopping, YouTube, and Facebook, and I didn't even think about technology because it seemed to be too complicated for me. You know, technology is for boys, not for me. And however, after I participated in TechCrew more and more, I got a lot of skills from TechCrew, and these skills are the skills that I can take with me. And for example, I learned how to use Photoshop to make myself look better in a picture. And I don't need to worry about what kind of posters I need to do in front of camera anymore. And I know how to edit videos by Final Cut, and now I have my own YouTube channel by using Final Cut and Photoshop. And I will be pretty famous on YouTube. I hope so. And if you don't believe me, here's my video. That's me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah.
I'm gonna hand it. Yeah, because I got a slide. Yeah, right? Yeah, I got a slide. I wasn't there in practice. The students here, we missed our bus this morning. So we had to scramble, and we drove on our own personal vehicles because our bus wasn't there. We were going to practice them at this timing. So instead, they did their own while I was eating breakfast this morning. So I didn't get to practice in this slide. So this is we wanted to show you what a TechCrew is. And so that's us showing you basically what a TechCrew is. Now we're going to start talking about some of the cooler implications of this and starting to explain what TechCrew Network is and how this might be a key program for your school to sustain its investments in educational technology. So there's no way our iPad one-to-one program would have been as successful as it was without TechCrew. There's no way, and I would go as bold as to say, there's no way that any school can have a 1-month turnaround on implementing its one-to-one program and to get 100% participation with your iPad program without a very active grassroots support from your students. And this is what TechCrew provides. And this is the formula that I stumbled upon. So while I was screaming in my head about all of trying to get my MDM solution in place, trying to get our 802.11a wireless network up to 802.11n or 802.11g, something with a little more bandwidth than our couple of hotspots. Well, I was worrying and running around rather crazy. I didn't have time to figure out the actual logistics of getting an iPad in each student's hand, the actual logistics of training all of the students. I was working on faculty, I was working on technological infrastructure, and we had one other IT person who was working on our email server, who was working on basic components that he didn't have time for this either. So I turned to a lot of students, and they rose to the challenge in an amazing way. So iPads, if you buy them in bulk, you'll find that they come in 10 a box. And so we labeled each of our 45 boxes, and we made 45 different mail groups. And when I say we, I meant the students, but though I did get plenty of credit for it. So the students made 45 different mailing groups and attributed to one of our students into each one of those mailing groups. They then made a grid where each box had a designated time and designated TechCrew members there to teach them and walk them through signing on and how to distribute them, giving them basic rules, making sure they sign our membership agreement, making sure they log on to our mobile device management solution, our MDM. I'm sure there's lots of speakers going on about what you should and should not do about MDM solutions. If you tell me, I won't do it on camera, but I have some recommendations on who to avoid. But so I found this when I gave them this responsibility, and I kept them accountable for that responsibility. And when I, by mistake, or rather by coincidence, I gave them a lot of freedom on their own. And I didn't think I would sustain that. That was a temporary thing I gave to a couple of my most trusted students that I've been working with for a couple of years, and they rose to it so well and started creating some things as a result afterwards that we've kept it up, that I've kept my hands out of the cookie jar, and now I'd like to show you what kind of things, when you give them a little bit of training, a good structure, and a lot of accountability, some amazing things start happening. And so that's the first level. That's our front-end support that we started talking about. Here's what happens afterwards when you give them a little bit of responsibility and a lot, sometimes, of autonomy.
So, my name is Jeremiah, and I'm going to talk to you about initiative. So, I had a moment while I was in TechCrew where I was surrounded by all of this technology, and I was a little unsatisfied about how we weren't really applying what we had and what we were graciously granted from our school. So I started a new branch of TechCrew called Spec Ops, Special Operations, where we would apply all of this technology and use it to the best of our ability to create or come up with different ideas where we could implement different things. So another thing that we did with this Spec Ops program was you can see all of this AV equipment. We started we improved our amateur theater called the Black Box Theater, and it doesn't take a genius to put all this together and create this amateur theater and make the sound system well and everything like that. But it does take the right skills at the right time and the right know-how in order to complete it with efficiency. And like Mr. A said eloquently earlier, it's not always us adding the infrastructure to our school, but it's also adding the implementation of this technological infrastructure to our school, which our IT needs the support with. So we don't really stop there. We use two important tools called Coursera and Codecademy. On the board you can see it's HTML. I'm not very HTML. I'm like Python and Ruby. I like them, but everyone basically in TechCrew is good with programming languages, and we use these tools to get like over the next horizon with TechCrew and to really push the barriers and push the envelope with TechCrew. So that's what I'm.
In order to get our students to participate more, the dorms specifically, we had these punch cards, which are little cards for each slam leader, which is a dorm leader for each house, to keep track of which students go where on campus or to school events like dances or games. Or to dances or games. And it was such a hassle for the slam leaders to count the number of punches in each card. So we made an application using Xcode and Objective-C to count each point that each student had made for their house. And so now we kind of have a Harry Potter house competition system at our school. And Mike and Steven, who are currently at a math competition today, are currently working on an independent study project, which is also a model of project-based learning. And what he'll be doing is something that's really cool. On this site, TechCrewNetwork.com, you'll be able to do some really cool things, such as keeping track of your tasks or assignments within your TechCrew. And this project is just another example of the unintended but wonderful side effects of having a TechCrew. And I am 15, and I am a part owner of the TechCrew Network LLC. And I'm going to introduce my brother to explain to you more about what the TechCrew Network is.
Hello, I'm Brooke, and I would like to invite you all to create your own TechCrew. We here have the resources to help you do that. On our website, you will find our wiki. The wiki will be constantly improving, using our very own project management software that we are in the process of developing. Now, this software will offer us the critical measure of accountability, and autonomy, that is key in the formula for the success of our TechCrew. Now here's where it gets cool. When a student resolves a task using our project management software, it uses a PHP script to automatically generate a new TID in our knowledge database. Basically, it means our wiki will automatically expand with the lessons learned from TechCrews all around the country every single day. So I ask you, please check out our website. If your school is considering a capital investment in technology, considering offering grassroots support from the students with the TechCrew.
Thank you very much.
So, maybe take a few questions if anybody has some questions about how the TechCrew works. Yeah.
There's one here.
In the TechCrew or in your school? In the whole school.
Yeah, in the school we have 376 students. We have about an even split, 50-50 domestic and boarding students.
And you find the size of your TechCrew is big enough to assist all of those students?
Yeah, we have a lot to do at any given day, but the way we work it is we have 3 lunch periods, and when one of us isn't in lunch or in class during that period, we have 40 minutes of free time, so our TechCrew office is always manned. So we're taking orders, helping, training, troubleshooting for 120 minutes every day during the school day, and then for about 2.5 hours after school for the students that are taking the TechCrew as part of their sports requirement.
And when they're idle, then they're programming. So when they're idle, then they're developing new skills. and otherwise they're resolving tasks.
Us here are not everyone who is in TechCrew. We have quite a few people who aren't here today, 14 in total, and they're actually communicating with me right now, trying to see how it's going.
All of our phones are blowing up. We're on a big iMessage group chat at the moment.
Well,
and
then it's
so,
going great.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Any other questions? Yes?
How much interface do you have with teachers and supporting them on their lessons and that sort of end of things? And it sounds like you've done a lot of work with your students and helping each other out at a peer level, but how much are you working with teachers and helping them with their curriculum and their implementation of technology?
One of the things we were tasked with at the beginning of the year was researching apps that could be used in the classroom. There are a lot of helpful things for math and the sciences, specifically. The writing aspect of it is a whole other area. For the English teachers, is mostly ways of submitting work through the internet, not wasting paper and things like that. So we did a bit of research ourselves at the beginning of the year, helped the teachers a little bit to learn how to do the research themselves, and eventually gave them the reins. I know a lot of I don't want to stereotype, but a lot of the younger teachers are more accepting of the devices and applications that we can use. My statistics teacher is a little old-fashioned, and she doesn't like seeing them out at all in class, but she's a bit of an anomaly. The rest of the school is very welcoming of the technology, and it makes the students' lives a lot easier because they can connect to the teachers through the devices.
Seth, how often would you say, when I walk into the TechCrew office and check up on you guys, how often is there a teacher there?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. The teachers come to us for help too. We had one of our teachers, she had this tiny little computer, looked like it could have come out of a cereal box or something, and she refused to give up on it. And we had it for, I think we might still have it. And she gave it to us at the beginning of the year, and we're doing everything we can. Like we have Father Tim, one of the priests at our school, who'll come up to the desk and go, what does he say? Hey geniuses. That's what he says. Hey geniuses, I need something. They are there. They're very present at the desk. A lot of the times it's as simple as offering them an adapter for the projectors.
One last question, so we have time for
I'm
one.
curious, as students or even as educators, the one thing, I'm a computer science teacher in high school, how do you try to attract, is a bad word, more females to these computer science type of projects?
As our sole representative.
She's not the only girl in our club.
Yeah, there's another girl in our TechCrew who's Joanna, and both of us are freshmen. And the reason why we love TechCrew is that not only like TechCrew tells us how to program, but also it is very useful for us. Like we can know a lot of things like Photoshop and Final Cut. That kind of things are girls always like.
So I think the answer you're looking for, and the way we got our current diversification, is showing the product. We showed some of the videos. We gave some demonstrations. We allowed TechCrew to give a couple speeches and demonstrating what we did, just giving an update on some of the things that technology is doing in and around the school. But we did it flashy enough that I think it got some attention, and by putting the product first, they can look past the stereotype or the demographic limitations that, oh, this is boys only, this is a certain group of boys, not only just boys only. And by saying, look at what we can do, we got someone interested in making our own YouTube channel to join up with TechCrew, or trying to get out of sports.
And also, while girls are sitting behind the table, people are more willing to come. I think so.
All of a sudden, everyone's iPad is starting to get broken, and so our repairs are going up, and it might be because we have two girls behind the desk now. So.
Well, thank you to the Student Tech Crew, and they'll be here to answer other questions. Also, I want to let you know that the slides will be in a vault under the Boston Tech Forum program, so we hope to have them up by Monday. So, and I did tweet that the Tech Crew URL as well. Let's bring up our final presenter here.
Wow, that's awesome. Very impressive.